Hey guys, back again. This is the final deck profile of our top 8 team down in Houston. This is Jaden Storm. He sat in Seat B, and he played what?
I played Shadow Paladins. It was between this and Kagro. You need heavy retiring power in the current meta, so Shadow Paladin does it better. Kagro's spot on. Shadow's mass, so that's why I went with Shadow. Trigger lineup, 7 crit, 5 draw, 4 heal. I play the extra draw because if you need it as a spot on call for PVD or Gust Blaster, you can call it because you don't really want to sack off Maclear unless you're swinging for game and you know you're going to get it, or it's just a last minute ditch effort to try and steal a game. Grade 1's pretty basic. We have Charon, Spirit called through an ability, counter plus 3k, Soul Blast 1 to countercharge. Really nice. The basic Spirit Call engine of the deck into main. Rester to Spirit Call a unit from your deck with 5k power, which you're either going to fetch another domain or you're going to fetch one of your Sword Breakers.
Draw trigger.
Sword Breaker, when you call her out of your hand, she's going to be 10k, but you can always counterblast 1 to just draw a card 2, which is really nice. It's really effective if you don't want to spend any of your hand to just rest in a main, call this from deck, and draw a card. You build up hand resources really quick. For the last 2 grade 1s, these last 2 slots are pretty open to, depending on who's piloting the deck. I really like Guru Bao. He came in such clutch. If he's on a force circle and you're on grade 3, he swings for 24 by himself. He's really, really, really good. Grade 2s. We first play 4 copies of Blaster Dark. I originally was only going to play 3. I'm glad I went to 4. The twin drive is nice if we can get it, but the main important thing is currently in the meta you want to be able to pick things off your opponent's board, so they have to span more out of their hand to rebuild their board to battle with you, and being able to just force them to drop another card is really, really good. And I got nice Blaster Darks, so. For the rest of them, for Maka, this is standard. Maka is by far the MVP of the grade 2 lineups by far, just for her ability to combo with where'd she go? Combo with Charon. She gives you a 26k column, draws a card, counter charges for free, basically. So really, really good. And keep in mind, a lot of people think her skill is only when you call her. Her skill is actually once per turn. She doesn't need to be called from the hand in order to trigger. 3 copies of Darkside. This is literally just to help you fetch your domain to get your Spirit Call engine running. She has a pretty good sizable rear guard. If you Spirit Call a lot for each 5k rear guard, for every 5k rear guard one that you call, she's going to gain 3k for each call. Lastly, just 1 copy of Cathbad. This last slot, it can really be anything. Cathbad is just the easy. This isn't a good choice. It's not a bad choice. It's just a easy throw in because he swings for huge numbers. Works really good after a PBD turn. And then for grade 3s, pretty straightforward. We run 4 PBD. So good. You can argue that this is actually better than Gust in ways. PBD, the ability to force your opponent to retreat 3 in certain matchups it will cripple them. Swings for 28 and a crit. His ability to Soul Blast a grade 3 and deal a damage, so good. I had a game where my opponent was at 2 damage. I Soul Blasted, put it with 3, attacked. He guarded for 1 to pass, and I got topped a crit. Dealt him 4 damage in 1 turn. He's just so good, and still carries a pretty high price, even though he's been out for quite a while. And then obviously 4 copies of the man on the mat, Gust Blaster. Gust Blaster is definitely the finisher of the deck. You want to be careful and choosy about when you go into him. If your opponent has a huge hand, I recommend you just stay on PBD. Gust Blaster is really nice for the being able to pop a unit, draw a card for the sacrifice of 2 units, and being able to stack crits all on top of him. If you know your opponent has nullifies in their hand, do not ride into this right away unless you are in desperate need of a force circle to gain some advantage. But Gust Blaster did win me 2 games off of his skill alone because my opponent just had a small hand and I would swing for 33 and 4 crit and they just couldn't do a thing. So really good card. So for matchups, I actually have mine wrote here. If you'll bear with me for just 2 seconds. Okay, round 1 I played Royals. I couldn't have asked for a better round 1 matchup. Royal Paladin just cries when they see Shadow Paladin, because if you start picking off Royal Paladin's field along with attacking them with your high number units, they're going to lose their hand, which means they can't replenish their field, and eventually they're just going to fold. Round 2, I played Melody. This was going to be possibly my hardest matchup of the day. Ended up winning. Literally just stalled him out. All my perfect guards came to my hand. Thank you, Mac Lear. Round 3 was Kagero. Kagero, I knew I was going to probably see a lot of this because the new set just dropped. I don't like to blow my own horn or anything, but Kagero, I play that match very well. I think it's the best match that I play because Kagero, for those who know me, it's my favorite clan, so I really know how to play against that deck. And then round 4, I played Kagero again, which I also won. Round 5, I got to give this guy a little quick shout out. He was playing Gear Chronicle, and at that point, his team was XO. I have never seen Gear Chronicle. I had no idea how they functioned. The deck was wonky, I'll admit it, but it worked for him. It was really good. So I really enjoyed that matchup. Ended up winning that round. The next round I played Kagero again, also won. Pretty much the same thing. He was playing the Overlord Great variant. And then in top 8, I played Neo Nectar. Top 8 matchup's gonna haunt me for a while. My deck, literally my opening hand, I had a grade 1 and 4 grade 0s. I returned all 4 grade 0s. First card I drew was Blaster Dark. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm good. And then the next 3 cards that I drew were all PBDs. And then the first card I drew was a Gust Blaster, and my grade 3s just kept floating in my hand. But, unfortunately, that shit happens, just part of it. But hopefully next time we'll do better.
Yep. This was Jaden's Shadow Paladins, and we'll get first place next year. Peace, guys.
See you guys.